Right, welcome. This is all rumour. Got to get that straight out. The gate. This is all a rumour. Calm down. Right, but I do think it's interesting to talk about. I do think it's interesting to get the general vibe from everyone as well. See what they think. Ben Affleck back as Batman on HBO Max. Sounds great, doesn't it? Sounds very eye-catching. But yeah, it's still rumour. Before we get into this, I just want to take a moment to say, hey, guys, if you're new here, please do hit subscribe. Please do turn your bell notifications on to notify all. That's for everyone. And then secondly, I am making a film. It is a high-concept horror fantasy film. Some people will be well aware of this, but remember, there'll be lots of people that won't be aware of this. I'm making a film. Again, high-concept horror fantasy film, Norse-inspired, The Thing, Hellraiser, etc. It's down below in the description box. I am crowdfunding for it. Throw in $5 or more, and you're in for a chance of winning a movie prop. Let's get into this. Let's go. Right, so, Ben Affleck, back as Batman. I mean, I reckon this is total nonsense, in fairness. But what else is he doing? Not an awful lot. So, it could be true. Could be true. And I will say, I think the reason why I think this is nonsense is just the timing of it all. Ben Affleck, Snyder Cut, HBO Max. It's all very SEO friendly. And this came to us over on 4chan. And a lot of people, you say 4chan, and they lose their mind and go, well, of course it's fake. No, not at all. There's been a lot of leaks which have come from 4chan and have been confirmed to be true. Literally, this year and last year, there's been a whole bunch. So, or probably just last year now, because this year seemed to just blurred into one big mass of crap. But yeah, no, 4chan, it doesn't automatically disprove it. Okay, so we'll take it with a pinch of salt, because I do actually think this is nonsense, but we'll take it with a pinch of salt and discuss it. So, will Ben Affleck be back as Batman following the announcement of the Snyder Cut on HBO Max? Now, I believe he will... I don't know if he needs to do any more photography work with Zack Snyder for the Snyder Cut, because if he does, then that will fuel this speculation even further, because he'll have to get back in shape, because there's only so much that this padding will do. He did lose a bit of his shape between, what was it, Batman vs Superman and Justice League, but it'll be interesting to see whether he gets in, well, like in any kind of shape or not, and I think that'll fuel it further. So, yeah. The wild rumour has hit the net, offering that a big announcement will come at the end of the year about Ben Affleck getting his own Batman series on HBO Max. It seems like a step down for him, though, doesn't it? HBO Max series? Ben Affleck Batman? It does seem like a step down. Do you think... do you get that sense? But what is he doing at the moment? I'm fairly... Didn't he star in a Netflix movie as well? He's not doing anything huge at the moment. And I know he's been in rehab, and obviously, hopefully he gets all the help that he can. But it seems like a step down. This is a man that moved from acting to directing, and obviously simultaneously was doing the Batman stuff as well. It'll be good if he continues that trajectory, but it seems like a step down. Now, the rumour offers that Ben Affleck Batman series will follow the Snyder Cut of the Justice League movie, which will also see Ben Affleck serve as the showrunner of the Batman series, which, that makes sense. Why wouldn't he? Of course he'd be the showrunner. That's the only way you would get him. I can't imagine you'd get him in any other way, shape or form. And I will say, this again comes after recent reports that it was Jeff Johns' fault that he even left the Batman. I'll leave a video to that linked above. Please do go and check that out. It's interesting. Unconfirmed at this point in time, but still interesting nonetheless. And very believable because it's Jeff Johns. It's also said that Zack Snyder will be on board as producer, and that Joe Manganiello, I don't know how to say that bloody name, Joe Manganiello, we'll just do that, will return as Deathstroke. Look, hey, Ben Affleck Batman with Joe Manganiello as Deathstroke going up against one another in a series, like two opposing forces, I would I would watch that. I would actually watch that, and it sounds like it could be good. But it also sounds a bit like wild fan fiction. But again, you're looking at these two individuals, Joe Manganiello, Ben Affleck. What are they doing at the moment? Nothing. Nothing. So I can believe it. You know? Like, what are they doing which would stop them from doing this? No big blockbusters. Especially not Joe Manganiello. Literally nothing at all. The rumour comes from 4chan. So again, that's where people go, ooh, they roll their eyes and say it's nonsense. This is on a few days ago, so bear that in mind. But AT&T has had fun with the fans on its social media, teasing the possibility of Ben Affleck back as Batman. So who knows what exactly going on, but anything could happen. Now the actual rumour is as follows. Batfleck is getting his own HBO Max original series that follows directly from where the Snyder Cut leaves off. Affleck himself will serve as showrunner. Snyder is on board as executive producer, and Manganiello is returning as Deathstroke. So details on whether it will be a miniseries or if they can get Affleck into a multi-season contract are still being negotiated. Expect an official announcement towards the end of the year. What else is Zack Snyder doing at the moment? He was doing the Army of the Dead movie for Netflix. That's all wrapped. I'm fairly certain that's all wrapped because we'd even seen production, initial photography leaks not too long ago. Well, a while back now, actually, sorry. It's got all the right ingredients there for something believable, but something is just stopping me. I just feel like it's a step down, and it shouldn't be, because HBO Max is going to be a killer. It's going to be a Netflix killer. It'll be a rival. Really, really will. But something just stops me from believing it, you know? And the article goes on to say, you know, Ben Affleck as the Batman. Regarding what happened with Ben Affleck and Batman, at one time, Affleck was attached to the Batman as the star, writer and director. Ben Affleck decided to depart from both the role and the solo movie. Affleck said he couldn't get the script right, but we know that isn't true, as Zack Snyder's Justice League storyboard artist and the director behind the DC animated movies, Jay Oliver, has said Affleck's Batman script is the best ever, which is something that Joe Manganiello also agreed with and confirmed. So what happened? A big clue about what happened with Ben Affleck leaving the Batman role came in an interview published in February in Vanity Fair that saw it insinuated that Affleck left the role over his dealings with Warner Brothers executives. Now, we've heard a lot about this, and a lot of these executives have gone. And it's not even Warner Brothers that is apparently moving the Snyder Cut ahead. Apparently, it's all to do with AT&T, the parent company. So it would make sense if Affleck, you know, has been kind of coerced back into it with AT&T rather than Warner Brothers. Maybe. I showed somebody the Batman script. Affleck said of the sequel, which we'll see Robert Pattinson take over the role. They said, I think the script is good. I also think you'll drink yourself to death if you go through what you just went through again. And that is that kind of goes into the comments about Jeff Johns and how and why he left the role. So it's important to kind of discuss how and why he left the role when we're discussing how he's going to come back. I mean, look, Jeff Johns has moved further away from DC movie properties and things like this. He has a vested interest in it still, and he's still around, but he has moved away. So, and if this is being handled by HBO Max directly with AT&T, I mean, I maybe. Would you want to see it though? Where would they go? Like, what would they do? What would they do with it? Apparently, my dog's over there. What would they do with this? So, while of course we don't know if Ben Affleck is really going to return for an HBO Max Batman series, what is interesting is that it has been reported it was AT&T, the parent company of Warner Brothers, who greenlit the release of the Snyder Cut. That's kind of just what I said. What is also rather interesting is that it has been reported Zack Snyder showed off a cut of the Snyder Cut to various Warner Brothers executives, one of whom was in attendance, which happened to be Jim Lee. Well, Jim Lee also happened to be responsible for getting Ezra Miller involved with the Flash cameo in Crisis on Infinite Earths. Jim Lee took over DC Comics following the ouster of Jeff Johns, Diane Nelson, and the recent ouster of Dan Didio. Where I am going with all this is that it appears that those executives that Ben Affleck didn't get along with are no longer involved. So there you go. Which is also something which has been rumoured when it was reported AT&T greenlit the Snyder Cut. I don't know. I mean, look, Ben Affleck's a mega fan, so he could come back and he'd probably enjoy coming back. But I don't know about this. Something tells me it's probably nonsense. I wouldn't hate it, but I'll hand it on over to you. What do you think? Let me know down below in the comment section. Remember, this is all rumour, unconfirmed, but interesting to discuss nonetheless. Thank you all so much for watching, though, guys. Give this big video a big thumbs up and like and share and all that stuff. Take care.